Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 3 episodes for you this morning here on the 12th day of January. And this first one has 5 articles in it. The URLs, of course, are in the description of the video for your convenience. The first article, actually the first couple articles that I have here, maybe even 3, are, are all related. This one's off of Zero Hedge, and it says identity of former intelligence officer who prepared the Trump dossier has been revealed. All this has been going on in the news all day today, as hard as it can go. I did a special report on this earlier today, so if you haven't listened to that one yet, you might want to listen to that one. But this is going to kind of catch you up a little bit on what's transpired since. It says, while we learned earlier that John McCain was responsible for handing over a 35-page dossier of compromising, or if arguably fake, revelations about Trump's connection to Russia over to the FBI, the identity of the actual creator, who was said to be an ex-British intelligence service, remained a mystery. No longer. Courtesy of WSJ, we now know his name, the former MI6 officer, now working for a private security and investigations firm, who produced a dossier of unverified allegations about President-elect Donald Trump and his activities and connections in Russia, is Christopher Steele, a director of London-based Orbis Business Intelligence. And before readers Google him, beware, there is a male gay porn star with the same name who may or may not be into golden showers. The real Chris Steele is profiled below, courtesy of LinkedIn, and it shows his profile here. It says Chris Steele, director at Orbis Business Intelligence, London, United Kingdom, security and investigators. Current is Orbis Business Intelligence Ltd. Previous is Orbis BI. And his experience as director, Orbis Business Intelligence Ltd., 2009 to present, 8 years, London, United Kingdom. Director of Orbis BI, 2009 to 2016, 7 years. Skills are listed as international relations, risk assessment, government, policy analysis, policy, intelligence analysis, counterterrorism, program management, business strategy, and politics. Chris also knows about crisis management, risk management, public policy, strategy, strategic planning, change management, and due diligence. And we'll get this to scroll up a little bit here. It says Steele, 52-year-old, is one of 2 directors of Orbis, along with Christopher Burrows, age 58. Burrows reached at his home outside London on Wednesday, said he wouldn't confirm or deny that Orbis had produced the report. A neighbor of Mr. Steele's said he would be away for a few days. In previous weeks, Mr. Steele has declined repeated requests for interviews through an intermediary who said the subject was too hot. And it gives his profile. He's director of Orbis Intelligence Ltd., London, United Kingdom, International Affairs. Current is Orbis Business Intelligence Ltd. Previous is Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Education is Liverpool. His experience is director, Orbis Business Intelligence Limited, June 2009 to present, 7 years 8 months. London, United Kingdom. Orbis is leading corporate intelligence consultancy that provides senior decision makers with strategic insight, intelligence, and investigative services. We then work with clients to develop strategies which protect their interests worldwide. He's a counselor, Foreign and Commonwealth Office from 2000 to 2009, 9 years. London, United Kingdom, counselor, External Affairs in Brussels, 2000 to 2002. FCO 2002 to 2005, Counselor External Affairs, Delhi, 2005 to 2006, FCO of 2006 to 2009. First Secretary, Foreign and Commonwealth Office, 1990 to 1999, 9 years. Languages are French, German, and Greek. Skills are listed as international relations, government, foreign policy, diplomacy, policy analysis, counterterrorism, program management, research, intelligence, political science. He also knows about European Union strategy, governance, capacity building, and business intelligence. His education was University of Liverpool and Cleethorpes Grammar School. It says, according to Steele's LinkedIn profile, at least before he scrubbed it, he was a counselor in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office with foreign postings in Brussels and New Delhi in the 2000s. The Foreign Office declined to comment to WSJ. Furthermore, LinkedIn profile for Mr. Steele doesn't give specifics about his career. However, notes that intelligence officers often use diplomatic postings as cover for their espionage activities. That or they are dumb enough to actually reveal where they are stationed. Some more details courtesy of WSJ. Let me stop the dinging in the background here. It says Orbis Business Intelligence was formed in 2009 by former British intelligence professionals. It says on its website, corporate records say Orbis is owned by another company that in turn is jointly owned by Mr. Steele and Burroughs. It occupies offices in an ornate building overlooking Grosvenor's, I think that's supposed to be Governor's Gardens, in London's high-end Belgravia neighborhood. The firm relies on a global network of experts and business leaders, provides clients with strategic advice, mounts intelligence gathering operations, and conducts complex, often cross-border investigations, its website says. The dossier consists of a series of unsigned memos that appear to have been written between June and December of 2016. Beyond creating the document, Mr. Steele also came up with a plan to get information to law enforcement officials in the U.S. and Europe, including the FBI, according to a person familiar with the matter. The WSJ adds that the author of the report had good reputation in the intelligence world and was stationed in Russia for years, said John Cipher, who retired in 2014 after 28 years in the CIA's clandestine service, where they specialized in Russian and counterintelligence. Private intelligence firms like Orbis have a growing presence. Major corporations use them to conduct due diligence on potential business partners in risky areas, but quality control can be loose when it comes to high-level political intrigue, according to executives of private intelligence companies. It appears they are also used to create smear campaigns for lots of money, one assumes, targeting potential presidential candidates, not to mention presidential elects. As for the fundamental question, are the memos in the Trump dossier real? Here's the answer. Wordsworth, co-founder of London-based investigations from Redis, who often works on Russian issues, said the memo and the Trump dossier were not convincing at all. It's just way too good, he said. If the head of the CIA were to declare he got the information of this quality, you wouldn't believe it. Mr. Wordsworth said it wouldn't make sense for Russian intelligence officials to expose state secrets to an ex-former MI6 officer. Russians believe once you're an agent forever, he said. Yes, a rational person wouldn't believe it, but BuzzFeed and other fake news outlets certainly would. The next article I have for you is off of Zero Hedge, and it says 4chan claims to have fabricated anti-Trump report as a hoax. In a story that's getting more surreal by the minute, a post on 4chan now claims that the infamous golden shower scene in the unverified 35-page dossier alleged or allegedly compiled by a British intelligence officer, was a hoax and fabricated by a member of the chat board as fan fiction, then sent to Rick Wilson, who proceeded to send it to the CIA, which then put their finger in their official classified intelligence report on the election. Here is 4chan's explanation of how the story came to light. Mailed fan fiction to anti-Trump pundit Rick Wilson about Trump making people piss on a bed Obama slept in. He thought it was real and gave it to the CIA. The Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America put this in their official classified intelligence report on Russian involvement in the election. Donald Trump and Obama have both read this POL/ACKS fan fiction. The CIA has concluded that the Russian plans to blackmail Trump with this story were made up. Just let that sink in, what we have become. And then, if I can get this to scroll up a little bit more, there's more pictures of some of the tweets and stuff in this, if you want to take a look at those. And the article continues. It says, on January the 10th, BuzzFeed posted a story under the byline of Ken Benzinger, Mark Schoofs, and Miriam Elder titled, "These reports allege Trump has deep ties to Russia," and posted a link to a document, other things, that Russia has been cultivating Trump for 5+ years, that Trump has been in constant contact with the Kremlin for information on his opponents, and perhaps most inflammatory, that there are many recorded instances of blackmail of Trump in sexual misconduct. A prominent claim is that Trump rented the presidential suite of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Moscow, where he knew that the Obamas had slept in. He then hired a number of prostitutes to perform a golden shower piss play on the bed in the room. And there's links to that. Then it goes on and says, noted Never Trump voice Rick Wilson later commented on Twitter, stating the report gave new meaning to WikiLeaks. And there's another link, and it says, and that the report was the reason everybody was fighting so hard against the Trump, fighting so hard against the election of Trump. And there's another link. The remarkable thing, it's all fake. And it's not only fake, it's a prank perpetuated by 4chan on Rick Wilson himself. A post on 4chan on October the 26th stated, MFW managed to convince CTR and certain journalists on Twitter there'll be an October surprise on Trump this Friday, along with a picture of a smug face with a hash name. And there's a link to that. It says, on November the 1st, a person without a picture, but is assumed to be the same person, posted, so they took what I told Rick Wilson and added a Russian spy angle to it. They still believe it. Guys, they're truly effing desperate. There's no remaining Trump scandal that's credible. And another link. On January the 10th, moments after the story broke and began to gain traction on social media, a person with the same smug grin face and the same hash title for the picture stated, I didn't think they'd take it so far. And another link. This story has taken on something of a life of its own. Going through Rick Wilson's Twitter, you can find many different stories from the time that he had shown the story to a wide number of anti-Trump news sources trying to find a news organization that would actually publish the story. During that time period, he referred to it often as the thing and often played coy with followers on the content with the story with anybody who was not a hashtag Never Trumper. Unconfirmed sources has people as high up as John McCain giving the story to FBI Director James Comey to attempt to verify the story. Given that Rick Wilson runs in establishment circles, it is not an impossible scenario that long-serving senators are falling for what amounts to a 4chan troll Trump supporter creating an ironic October surprise out of whole cloth to punk a GOP pundit who derogatorily referred to them as single men who masturbate to enemy. While this entire incident is laughable, and even more so if the 4chan account is accurate, what makes it quite tragic is that it is no longer possible to dismiss the fake news angle to an intelligence report. And if the CIA is compromised, what's left for news outlets like CNN and BuzzFeed, which were all too eager to run with the story without any attempt at verification? And the next one that I have for you, Rick Wells, .us, this is Constitution Rising, says fake news CNN covers up evidence Fort Lauderdale shooter was a 10-year jihadi. See, fake news, fake news, fake news. Can't make this stuff up. This is how this one reads. There's only one reason that makes sense as to why the home of fake news CNN would be covering up, failing to report the true nature of the Fort Lauderdale airport attack and the evidence that indicates that the perpetrator was an Islamic jihadist. Their promotion of the leftist agenda carries with it an obligation to cover up for the true nature of Islam and not to report the truth in instances where to do so would complicate that effort. For fake news CNN, life is just one complication after another. In their January 8th reporting, which included video of the attack, they described the perpetrator as a gunman, a veteran, and his birth name, Esteban Santiago. They found space to include the opinion of the local sheriff, Scott Israel, asking if he thought passengers would be subjected to increased security at the airport, Israel, or at the airport, period. Israel, apparently a Clinton supporter, said he was more concerned with persuading lawmakers to keep firearms out of the hands of felons, the mentally ill, and those on no-fly list. They offered his political response to the question, in which he stated, "The answer isn't to beef up airports. We're a free society. We as Americans, we go to airports and stadiums and venues every day of our lives. Of course, we already are subject to intrusive security when we fly. Where has Sheriff Scott been for the last 15 years, and why did CNN see that Democrat position as relevant and worthy of inclusion in their report? It would seem much more important to include information that they and the rest of the mainstream leftists have chosen not to even mention. His jihadist life of the last 10 years and his visiting of Islamic State websites. According to GotNews.com, Esteban had another name, an Islamic one that he gave himself in 2007. Ashik Hamad. No definition for the name was given, but apparently is loosely defined as living pig excrement that shoots innocent people in furtherance of his perversion. They did note that Santiago had a MySpace account registered in the name of Ashik Hamad, and that he had posted Islamic music to the site 3 years prior to his deployment to Iraq, putting to rest the claim that he was just a PTSD suffering war veteran. Veterans, even those with PTSD, don't randomly shoot innocent people in an airport. As if Esteban's scruffy and weak facial hair, complete with simulated mustache, didn't provide us with enough inkling of the source of this guy's motivations, Got News also uncovered the postings on MySpace of 3 Islamic songs, one of which was entitled La Allah Illallah, which is Arabic for "there is no God but Allah," and the first half of the Muslim declaration of faith, the Shahada. Surely CNN had access to the same information or could have gotten it from the source, but they have chosen not to. Fake news includes not reporting the whole truth, as in beating the Iraq war veteran component of the story to death, while failing to even mention that he was an Islamic convert 3 years previous to beginning his stint overseas. The video states that Santiago flew from Anchorage to Minnesota, the home of large Islamic concentration in Minnesota, where he stayed overnight before continuing on to commit his crimes the next day. Did he have contact with jihadist leaders or advisors while he was there? Is anyone asking the questions? Was his earlier visit to Anchorage FBI office, in which he claimed his mind was being controlled by U.S. intelligence and he was being forced to watch ISIS videos, merely a setup for a defense or to confuse the issue after he carried out his assault? This is clearly Islamic terrorism, and just as clearly, it's being covered up by the Obama regime. They're fake news propagandists and compliant local officials. Obama doesn't want to have to deal with another failure and pressure on his Islamic caliphate creation this close to leaving office. He'll just pretend it didn't happen, and CNN will obediently do their best to help. The next article I have for you is off of BizPac Review, and it says, Trump, all profits made by foreign governments to Trump hotels will be donated to U.S. Treasury. President-elect Donald Trump has revealed that he will be donating profits to his hotels from foreign governments to the United States Treasury. At his first press conference, Trump had attorney Sherry Dillon explain the steps he has taken to avoid conflicts of interest from his businesses. Dillon elaborated on the Constitution emoluments clause, which does not allow elected officials to accept gifts from foreign governments, but explained that this did not affect foreign payments at a Trump hotel. No one would have thought when the Constitution was written that paying your hotel bill was an emolument, Dillon said. She added that the president-elect's hotels have nothing to do with his office, and the Constitution does not require him to take any action. However, Trump's decision is to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest. He's going to voluntarily donate all profits from foreign government payments made to his hotels to the United States Treasury. This way, it is the American people who will profit, she said. And there is video in this one if you want to take a look at that. The next one is off of BizPac Review, and it says Obama may get rejected from elite Maryland golf club over anti-Israel policies. President Obama may have trouble getting admitted to an elite Jewish golf club after he leaves office. Obama reportedly wants to join the Woodmont Country Club in Maryland, but members of the mostly Jewish golf club don't want him there thanks to his anti-Israel policies. The club's annual fee approaches $10,000 and its initiation fee tops $80,000, but Obama would have gotten a complimentary membership as a perk. But after the stunt he pulled with the United Nations last month when he allowed the UN to condemn Israeli settlements in the West Bank, the club won't extend this courtesy. In light of the votes at the UN and Kerry's speech, there's this major uproar with having him part of the club, a source told the New York Post. A significant portion of the club has opposed offering him membership. Another person asked, can you imagine how angry I would be if I'd paid $80,000 to have to look at this guy who has done more to damage Israel than any president in American history? Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted, Israel has unequivocal evidence that Obama administration led the effort to pass the anti-Israel resolution in the UN Security Council. Ironically, Woodmont Country Club was founded by the Maryland Jewish community in 1913 because other golf clubs had banned Jews at the time. While Obama and the Democrats have historically enjoyed widespread support among Jews, both Democrats and Republicans at the Woodmont Country Club don't want Obama there. One official in Washington Jewish organization said perhaps Obama would be more comfortable at an openly anti-Semitic golf club. If there is a club that excludes Jews, he would probably be more comfortable around those folks. And another tweet from Netanyahu says, President-elect Trump, thank you for your warm friendship and your clear-cut support for Israel. And that's all I have for you in this episode. There'll be 2 more to follow. If you like what we're doing here, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that little bell and by that subscription button, and a box will pop up you can check to get email alerts every time I put a show up. That way you'll stay apprised of what the news is. So we'll see you in the next episode.